Welcome folks, I am Jabby Kuwait and this is my non-spoiler review for Abominable. This is a family-friendly film, so I will keep this review family-friendly, who knows who's watching. So I got to watch it a few days ago thanks to 4DX and RealD 3D. They are not sponsoring this video, so I can say whatever the heck I want regarding them. I'd recommend watching it in 4DX and RealD 3D, that's the truth. They're not paying me to say that, I'm saying that of my own volition. RealD 3D, there hasn't been a single RealD 3D film I've watched in the past few years. Since RealD 3D started bringing me into their screenings, there hasn't been a single one I've watched where I'm like, this is terrible 3D. I've enjoyed the work that they do, the way they enhance the films. I think it's always great. If you haven't given 3D a shot in a while, it's probably because you experienced the old crappy 3D. RealD 3D is the updated version that we should have gotten a while ago, and it's here, and it's very enjoyable. 4DX is, if you don't know about it, is where they add the extra elements, you know, like the snow, the rain, wind, and sometimes water for like rain sequences. It's not obnoxious, it's just enough to make you feel like you're part of the adventure, as well as the moving chair and whatnot. I really appreciate all of that. I think it's a super cool way to watch movies in general, but it worked really well for Abominable. My only complaint is that sometimes when characters were tossed around, I felt like something was hitting me in the back. It was like, okay, like I could do with less of that, maybe dial that down a notch. That would be my only critique against 4DX, but other than that, it's a very enjoyable way to watch the movie. So about the film itself, how about that? IMDb says a magical Yeti must return to his family. To me, that's leaving out a crucial detail there, which is the little girl, young woman, I should say, that's in this film that's helping to shepherd him back home. I would call this Free Willy, but with a Yeti and characters you like. Because I don't remember anything about that character from Free Willy that's super memorable, whereas characters here stand out. They're all very interesting and well-defined, and I really enjoyed hanging out with them. In the first 20 minutes, maybe not so much. In the first 20 minutes, there were some jokes that were just not quite landing for me, and I found just like kind of obnoxious. It just, the ha-has weren't ha-haing me, so to speak. But after that, once the adventure got rolling, I actually really got into the film. I found it to be heartwarming. There were some good messages in there. Like I said, it's family friendly. The animation's phenomenal. The music, with the exception of some of the bookend music, the music's great in this movie. Just in general, it's a wonderful movie, and I do recommend it. And I think that if you can get past the first 15 minutes or so, you'll really, really enjoy the adventure that this film has to offer you. I had no idea that this was about Asians. Your main character's Asian, most of the characters are Asian in this movie, and I was like, oh, that's really cool. I had no idea that was coming. I don't remember ever watching a single trailer to this, and that might be why I didn't know that, or maybe they neatly, conveniently, you know, disguise that information somehow, like they just didn't show it to you. Again, this is someone who hasn't seen the trailer. I went in blind, and that's my favorite way to go in watching a movie, is just raw. I didn't find out any, you know, commercial stuff in advance, especially when the movie's as good as this. This is a fun film, and I do recommend it. I think that it's great for, you know, watching with your family. It's great to go in by yourself. It'll pick your spirits up. It's great to go on a date. It's one of those kinds of movies that all occasions are suitable for this film. Eddie Izzard is the only person I really want to talk about in terms of the voice actors. I mean, I guess I should mention Chloe Bennett, who's the main actress. She's half Asian, half white, like myself. And I thought she did a great job. Albert Tsai and Tenzing Norgay Trainer, who are the other main characters, they did a great job as well. But Eddie Izzard stuck out to me in not the best way. I'm just gonna say he plays one of the main characters. He's supposed to be older. I think Eddie Izzard is hilarious, he's phenomenal. Even what he brings to the table here is great stuff. I just wish that he found a way to age his voice more, because it really sounded like a younger dude playing an older dude. And that would be my main complaint in terms of the voice stuff. But everybody else, in terms of their voice acting, people I didn't mention, they all did a great job with just being those people, making them feel real and believable. I thought that the voice acting in this film was awesome and fun. They brought it to life. Just as a random fun fact, James Hong is one of the voices in this film. If you don't know, James Hong plays Po's father in Kung Fu Panda. And if you want to go really far back, James Hong is in Big Trouble in Little China with Kurt Russell. So that was one of my favorite movies as a kid. I don't know how watchable it is today, but as a kid, I loved that movie. I always get afraid to be too specific in my non-spoiler reviews for fear of giving something away, but just to give you a little nugget of what this film is about, you have a young woman rather, who is trying to save up, working all kinds of odd jobs in an effort to go on a trip. I'm not gonna say why she's trying to go on this trip, because there's an emotional tie to that, and I don't wanna spoil that. It's important for her to go on this trip. And this Yeti comes into her life. It's just a happy coincidence that he needs to get somewhere. And so she ends up joining him on his adventure, or basically trying to shepherd him back home. And that is how she lives out her adventure. The movie is fairly predictable if you've watched enough films, especially films like this where you gotta get the thing back home. We've seen this story before. You sort of see all the beats coming, you know what's gonna happen, but there is one or two surprises in the film that I did not see coming, and I thought that was pretty cool. Obviously I can't say what it is, but just know that even though the story itself, it's been done a bunch of times, there are some cool, interesting twists that happen along the way. There are some cool character arcs that I didn't know was coming at the beginning of the movie. So I didn't actually know who was involved in the adventure in the first 10 minutes of the movie. But when the adventure started, I was like, oh, okay, these are the characters. I thought it was pretty cool the way they handled all that. There were some nice misdirects in the storytelling, even though you pretty much know the major beats that are gonna happen in the movie. I can't remember if I mentioned it already, but the animation in this was phenomenal. There were some moments where it just was like beautiful. That probably was accentuated by the RealD 3D. Not gonna lie, I mean, that helps to bring things out. It was just so lifelike at times. Even though it's very clear that this is a cartoon you're watching, there were moments where it's just gorgeous. There's scenes in like, that are filled with all kinds of nature and vegetation or whatever you want to call it, like fields and stuff like that. It just pops off the screen. It's so colorful and vibrant and it's beautiful. So for the animation as well, I think that this is a wonderful film to watch. I recommend it. I really, really enjoyed it and I would watch it again. And again, like I said, it's a great date movie, it's a great family movie, it's great to watch by yourself. Whatever your circumstance is, I'd say go watch it. So that concludes this non-spoiler review. Thanks so much for hanging out. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the bell icon so you get notified every time we drop another video. Check out our other reactions, reviews, short films, and vlogs and interviews. I am Jaby Koay. Peace out.